Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another interesting and power-packed episode of Tea Talks Tuesday. So today we are here to talk about. Okay, before we go into the session, I'm so sorry. Wishing you all the viewers a very happy New Year and the very first session of this year. And we are starting with an enthusiastic and the today's speaker is very enthusiastic, my friend again. So she's here. Jyoti is here. She's going to hear. She's here to talk about fitness. Okay. So before we go into this session, I would like to introduce Jyoti Srinivas. So Jyoti Srinivas is a clinical and public health nutritionist by profession and a preventive health coach by passion. She has done a double master's in nutrition and currently pursuing PhD. She is the proud founder of the brand Nourish and Flourish based at Hyderabad. She is a happy travel freak who traveled more than 30 countries across Europe. Wow. Uh, ever, mm, ever, sorry, wherever it be it, nutrition has always been part of her life. With constant efforts and struggles, she made herself emerge as a freelancer a decade ago in early 2010s. With more than 2 decades of experience, she has hands-on experience in various setups like hospitals, nutraceutical companies, public health research institutes. Having been worked with various firms and after understanding the global burden of disease, she found her deep connect for preventing diseases rather than managing them. That's awesome, Jyoti. And that's where her dream of seeing a disease-free world has begun. She strongly believes in practicing herself before preaching others, which made her walk 10 kilometers each day since last 2 to 3 years, which further motivated many more to lead an active life. So she has programs like Nourish with Jyoti, Fitness Enthusiast, Mission NutriCovin, Nari, to name a few. So Jyoti believes in educating and also helping them to set an enabling environment to make impossible things possible. So Jyoti is here. Welcome, Jyoti. Welcome to Tea Talks. All yours.
Thank you so much, Mayuri. That was so nice. You introduced me, and thank you so much. And I wish you all a very happy New Year. This is the
Thank you.
first session this year. I'm excited too. So, can you see Mayuri?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So before I actually go into the topic and plunge and discuss about it, I want to tell a little story, a little anecdote that I have in my life. This story dated way back to 2004 when I got recently married then, doing a 9 to 5 job and trying to establish well. The only thing that bothered me in those days is a maid not coming suddenly. I know many of you will resonate the same. So that one scenario used to create so much of tsunamis at home. It used to increase my BP to such an extent, and it really made me so much of stress, and it highly impacted my health and my practice. That's when, after repeated episodes of such small things, I realized where I am not capable of managing my daily chores, which I have to work on, wherein I got a bang on my thoughts and come up with this topic of fitness. And I set a goal for myself that I should lead a stress free life every day, each and every day. So, having said that, that's where my interest towards fitness has developed. So, as I said, that don't relate fitness or anything to weight. Let me tell you, my weight in those days was only 48 kgs. So, this is a way beyond weight management. So, what is fitness is all about? What are we going to talk about today? We all know very well that health is physical, mental, and emotional and social health. We have to have a sound balance among all the four aspects of life. But do question ourselves: are we really fit enough? Are we really stress free end of the day? If your child is coming to you end of the day and asking you to participate in a game, Are you able to do it? If someone is asking you to cook a little bit of meal, extra meal, are you able to do it without frustration? Or if your boss is giving you an extra piece of work and which you have to do the same day, are you able to do it without any irritation? All these factors together is what I mean fitness. So analyze all these factors, assess yourself, think about it, and rate yourself in the scale of fitness. Where do you stand? So here I'm going to emphasize on like how being fit can make you a better practitioner. I agree, most of us are not ideal these days. We all work hard, we all do some kind of exercise or workouts every day. But just analyze whatever exercise or workouts
He's doing it right now.
you people are doing, is it helping you in the four aspects? Like, are you able to build up your strength, your stability, your stretchability, and your stamina? Do we really have all these four aspects in life with whatever exercise that we are doing? If not, again, we have to check on these things. And I really want to make a point here. The topic of today's thing, we all know that exercise makes us healthy and it gives us a disease free life, but it also improves your work capacity and productivity while you work. So do you all want to join me and know how do we do that? So let's go ahead. Research indicates that patients are likely to listen to the health practitioners who are healthy. It's true to some extent. Suppose when we maintain a good health and when we have a good degree of weight, it inspires ourselves. It inspires ourselves, and at the same time, it gives us a level of confidence to present ahead. And this really helps us. It really helps us, to make the point better. There are many healthcare practitioners, and being them fit or not being fit may affect his or her patient care for sure. So what research indicates us? There was a study conducted among around 500 primary care physicians. The researchers tried to find out that their own body weight, the physicians, their own body weight has affected how they are taking care of the patients who has weight issues. End of the day, we cannot ask the patients to do everything on their own when we are not doing the same. It's not fair. So it's very important that we health practitioners lead by example. It's very important than ever before because we are all sailing in a pool of knowledge. Now, there's knowledge everywhere. There is no lack of knowledge. But the challenge is, what piece of knowledge do we really need for that particular person or for that particular person? Unless otherwise we don't identify well what kind of advice is going to work for that particular person, it's not going to help anyone. Be it the type of exercise or be it the duration of the exercise, be it in which part of the day they are doing the exercise, be it any kind. Unless otherwise we have a good knowledge about it, it's not going to help that particular person. Rather, we harm more if we don't take the right knowledge. So once we identify this chunk of piece of knowledge, the major challenge of practicing and adapting begins. And when we adapt, that's what we are into healthy habits. So having said that, how it will really give us a great feeling to stand out as an example and motivate patients every day by showing us, see, I'm able to do and you will be able to do it better. So that's what leading by example, preaching what we practice. And coming to why fitness is important and what is happening around in the healthcare field. Practicing self-care. We call it self-care. This is the most important factor and the fundamental factor in preventive health. And unfortunately, many of the health practitioners, they just overlook this. So having said that, we all know that physical activity is very important to lead a healthy life. At the same time, we are going to know today how it is going to boost your practice and increase your productivity. So there was a study conducted among 200 healthcare employees from 3 different organizations. The researchers tried to study the impact of exercise on these employees' mood and intern productivity. It obviously they observed that it increased to some extent, and the employees are able to complete the work on time, and there were no sick leaves or anything, and working without unscheduled breaks was bettered, and the motivation to work was drastically increased. And especially when it is a teamwork and group work, the interpersonal skills have tremendously increased by 80%. See, this is the results of the healthcare practitioners who are doing exercise. How, when involved in a particular kind of workout, how that will impact their workflow. There is another study in a US study by Minnesota researchers. They tried to study the association between physical activity and the job performance. And the researchers were able to find out that increased physical activity also increases the work capacity as well as the overall job performance of these healthcare practitioners. Having said that, exercise is important, but we no need to do the HIIT workouts. The best part is you don't necessarily have to sweat up the storm. Just research indicates that even the low intensity or the medium intensity workouts like walking or cycling or yoga can have a tremendous effect. So let's check on the correlation. Like we have regular health benefits because of exercise, and we have the productivity at work. How we can correlate both the things? Most of the time, when the healthcare practitioners ask patients to do some kind of exercise, the first reason we all get to know is, oh, it was a very tiring day yesterday, and I couldn't sleep well, I couldn't get up well, so I couldn't do my exercise. This is the most common reason we all come across. If they haven't slept well, they won't be able to do the exercise. If they haven't done the exercise, they won't be able to sleep well. It's a vicious cycle because research indicates that workout has its own impact in betterment of one's own sleep. So why are we talking about sleep today? Because sleep is very, very important. When we sleep well, we have won half the battle. It helps us in recovering. It helps us in healing our body. Let's go back to the time where even the lights were not invented, where people used to live taking sunrise and sunset as the clock system. They have the best of their health because they have a time frame for everything that they are doing. And as we move further in time, wherein let me go to my childhood days, wherein I never had a day we slept after sunrise, beyond sunrise. We have to get up before that. So there's a biological clock that we followed. And coming to today's life, where we all are into the devices and the light that emits from the devices and all the artificial lights that we have around in our houses, they don't let your body relax. When the lights are on, they don't let your body produce the healing hormones that are needed to heal and recover your body so that you're ready for next day. When this is happening, you're accumulating stress. It's a cumulative effect. So every other day, the person is getting up with greater lethargy and not able to be fresh and do their part better. So what can we do for this? The best thing is have a time frame. Have a time frame for your sleep. Have a time frame for your exercise. Both these things, when done, it it will give a chance for your brain to wind down and do its job and recover you so that you can do your job better the very next day. So as I said, when sleep can, if sleep can do half of the job, the rest work can be won by the exercise. How we all know that exercise reduces stress. Exercise produces, stimulates the production of endorphins, which are natural painkillers and mood elevators. I don't know how many of you carry a water bottle when you go outside, but I've seen people carrying a strip of crocin because they don't know when they come across an illness. That is the state we are living in these days. So imagine when someone is into regular exercise practice, when the body is eligible to produce natural killer painkillers and able to heal and self-heal and recover by itself, why should we take prescriptions at all? Such a powerful thing is exercise is all about. And the second thing is muscular meditation. I really like this term, so I'm just using it. It's nothing much about it. It's using your large muscles of the body, like your hand muscles and your leg muscles. When we rhythmically make a movement, when we repeatedly do that rhythmic movement for a period of time, it is known that this particular kind of movement will help you in relieving the stress in a better way. And third thing is human touch. Human touch has a very powerful healing power. It makes you feel better. It heals your body. It makes you happy. So pay attention to this part of your life as well. And the third thing is heart health. Like we all know that exercise helps you in good cardiac protection. I'm not going to talk much about this because I know you all know much about it. But the experts' prescription is do at least 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 5 days a week. That helps you to stay fit and healthy. Here comes my most favorite aspect. How you can improve your immune support system. We all know, like by doing exercise that increases the healthy, that gives us a healthy lifestyle, which further helps the immune system to work in a better way. There are certain research studies which indicate that if a person is involved into moderate intense activity, it is shown that the episodes of colds and respiratory infections are much lesser among them. I've also come across a systemic review where randomized controlled trials were studied, wherein they studied yoga as a practice which is used to boost immunity by reducing chronic inflammation. I have two things to say here. 2-3 years before, or almost from quite a few years, research is indicating that even by doing an hour of exercise every day is not sufficient to combat the 23 hours of sedentary life a person is leading. And thanks to pandemic, we all are into we are all in our own cocoons. And now research indicates the sitting time has drastically risen up. The sedentary lives have gone much further. So in these scenarios, we have two advantages. One is exercise helps you to lead an active lifestyle wherein you can avoid all lifestyle diseases. You can fight with the stress. And the second most important thing is you can enhance your immunity so that you're in a better place wherein if a situation comes to you, you can handle it well. So having said that, having known after all these things, the two most common problems that we see across the healthcare practitioners is the lack of commitment to do it every day. And they claim to be busy. Of course, all healthcare practitioners are really busy. They're busy, all dietitians jotting down the diet plans. They're busy conversing to their clients endlessly for hours together, counseling to them. But end of the day, if we don't make an impact knowing the importance of exercise, how can we influence the patients? So devoting a little time every day to even that could be 5 minutes, that makes a change to some extent. So it's very important to practice what we preach. And it's very important to stand as an example so that you can motivate your patients or clients every day so that they can have a better life ahead. So having said that, what can we do to achieve this? I have some pointers to say. The first thing is time management. All of us has only 24 hours, but many of us won't be able to do so many things in this particular time frame. So the best thing is have a plan, have a timetable ready. If you observe, there are incidences where we spend most of the time thinking what to cook rather than the time taken for cooking. It takes very less time for cooking, but we waste so much of time to think what to cook. So if one can plan, I'm just giving an example. If one can plan in a day what they want to do, it helps them to finish the task more efficiently so that you're left with more valuable time. And the second thing is effective management of your personal and professional work. This virtual world has given us the new terminology, work smart, work sharp. But I remember, I don't know how many of you have done BSc Home Science here. I'm telling my story way back in 1996, where I was doing my graduation. We have a paper called Home Management, where we are taught some work simplification techniques, which helps us to manage our personal as well as professional life. I was so thrilled in those days looking at these techniques. How, if we can follow these things, how efficiently we can manage our work at both the ends. So these techniques really help in minimizing the time and in efficiently doing the tasks. So there are things like combining tasks or multitasking. So it's a very interesting concept. And the third thing is, always one should carry a thought of being active. One should think by themselves, okay, I have to stay active. It is their thought. If we have that thought in mind, that intention to stay active will bring on the action plan automatically. So to make the action plan successful, one should have some reminders. We all need reminders. Reminders, not the phone reminders. What I mean is reminders, some physical reminders. Think something like have some stick-on notes wherever the place wherever it is approachable. Or what I usually do is I keep my shoes visible in front of me so that the shoes remind me, okay, I have to do my workout. And the best part is have a partner. It can be from your family, it can be from your siblings, or it can be from your friends. See, it's not possible for any person to keep up the same motivational levels all 365 days. So it's very important to have a partner, be it 1 or 2 or 3, how many ever. So if one is low, the other one can cheer you up and motivate so that it will not spoil your fitness regimen. And that commitment continues, the motivation continues, the energy is bound together, the cumulative effect has a greater impact. So always find a good partner who is enthusiastic to work. And the next point is move your feet before you eat. I really like this quote. See, suppose a person is given, we eat 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What if all 3 meals are served at the same time? Would you be able to eat? No, right? That's too much to take at one time. Similarly, if a person doesn't do anything from morning till evening, and we have a target to finish 10K end of the day, will he be able to do it? Definitely not, because that's a burden. So it's very important to distribute, divide, do little chunks at over a period of time and throughout the day, so that it becomes an easy task. So keep it a reminder before you eat your breakfast, at least do certain amount of steps. Before you eat your lunch, finish your workout, before you eat your dinner. So if you can keep this kind of framing, it becomes easy to achieve the targets. And always try a tracker. My tracker is my best friend. If I don't even do one thing, or if I don't do what I have done yesterday, if I'm little slow today, it will send me a quick reminder. Oh, you haven't done today, do it. So trackers really help us to measure your step count, to measure the distance, on how much of, okay, see, end of the day, it's a machine and we have to analyze how accurate they are. I agree. But it helps you to know, assess where you are. A person, if they're doing only 2000 steps a day, we cannot ask them to do 15K a day because it's not feasible. So it's very important to assess where they are, their right current position. So for these trackers do help. And turn your sit time into fit time. So most of the dietitians, we sit hours together counseling patients. We sit hours together making diet plans or making some videos or some media work. So whenever possible, if you're on a call, get up and walk, move around, make more steps while instead of sitting, you can actually do a better job by standing. When the blood rushes your brain, it activates your brain and makes you do a much better job. And always combine some exercise with any sedentary activity, like how we can do this. Like, don't keep only exercises at morning time. You can do your morning piece of exercise. It's very much okay. But say, for example, if you're watching a serial or if you're watching a movie or a net series, instead of sitting and lounging on the bed or on a sofa, get up and do some stretches or do some spot walking or some spot jogging. You just have to combine activities. See, anyways, we are into watching something, we are involved. We don't notice what is happening around. So it's so good to combine activities so that it's easy for you to actually do. And as I said, for plan your time, you should always plan for your exercise also. When we get up and think, okay, chalo karte hai, okay, let's do something, and then you think of what to do, then it's all waste of time. Most of the times, it happens while watching TV. Okay, let's decide what to watch. We keep on browsing. End of the day, I don't watch anything because I don't know. The same thing happens with exercise. Decide what you want to do and do it. Don't think when you have to do. And most importantly, when you do, reward yourself. Be it how small it could be. A person who has done only 2000 steps or 1000 steps, if they have done even 1000 more, appreciate, encourage them, reward them, and assess them. That's what helps them to put them on a progressive chart where they can reach higher. So these are some of the ways that we can do. Having said that, having a thought can become an action, and it can turn into a good habit, and habits can become a good routine. But if we observe, even the most dedicated and committed people who are most enthusiastic in doing fitness or workouts every day won't be able to do 365 days. There is a lag for everyone. After 3 months, 4 months, people stop doing for no reason. And they don't know why they stop it also. It's a habit for them, but they won't be able to do it. You know why? These habits don't become sustainable because they don't enjoy what they do. One should enjoy. Pick an activity which is of your choice, what you love to do. Anything done as an activity or anything done just as a mere task will never help us. We have to choose the things which gives us pleasure, which gives us happiness. When we do something out of happiness, our body understands that. Our body doesn't understand words, but the body understands our emotions. When we do it in a happy note, the body accepts and understands and responds and brings on the change. That's what will be sustainable and long lasting. With that, I'll finish my talk with my favorite quote. The body achieves what the mind believes in. There is nothing that only this is possible and this is not possible. There is no limit for anything. There is no limit for pregnant women that they shouldn't do this. There is no limit for anybody that they shouldn't or they should. It's all what you believe in. It's all how you want to be. It's all what gives you pleasure. Do that. And that's what can bring on better change. And you can stand as an example and influence all your clients and patients to lead them a healthier and happier lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti. It was a wonderful session. Great session. So Jyoti is here. So everyone, all the audience, you can just put up your questions. You can, we can have an interactive session from now on. So any questions with regards to the fitness and everything, Jyoti is here to answer. You can just post your questions, both on Facebook and even on the Zoom. And Zoom participants can unmute and you can ask your questions.
Hi, Jyoti.
Hello, ma'am. Happy New Year, ma'am.
Happy New Year to you. You have a nice way of presentation. Let me compliment on that first before I ask any question. With a very calm, you know, flair and happy mode, and anybody who listens to you will calm down immediately.
Thank you, ma'am.
How beautiful it is. So,
Thank you so much.
And I'm always reading your nourish and flourish. Is it?
Yes.
So I think you have to change this to nourish to flourish. I'm reading it like that only. Nourish to flourish. Nourish to flourish. All the time. A very nice logo, and that human being standing and the like, you know, the leaves that are there. Shows the different aspects of humanity, or our beliefs or our emotions, everything. Each leaf, probably.
I want to show up that the importance of a root system, and if the root system is strong, how we can flourish, be it health or be it our values. So I want to replicate that in my logo. And
nice wordings also. Nourish to flourish. For me, it is nourish to flourish. These two are not too different. They are together.
Yeah.
And the last closing sentence also is very good. And of course, the beginning one also. We learn till we die. And last sentence is
mind.
What is that? What mind believes you
believe in yourself.
It achieves. What mind believes, the body achieves. True. That is true. That's how people can sculpt their bodies. They can sculpt their bodies, isn't it? So,
yes, ma'am.
100% true. And we believe, in spite of everything, whether we are thin or thick or however, you know, black, white, brown, whatever may be, we believe that we are a certain thing, and that only, you know, it will be there in mind.
Projected.
How people perceive us is totally different, but whatever we believe.
Yeah.
And one more thing that I practice, and I always tell my clients who are lazy like me to practice is 3 times, you know, working out in 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes makes 30 minutes. So before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner. Always, anybody who's lazy like me, I'll tell this is it. So if you don't do, you don't feel like eating on. That kind of addiction got. So whether it is steps or doing some household work or whatever, but I want that, you know, heart to race a little bit and sweat a little bit. Feel that your body is, you know, that muscular meditation.
Yeah.
The limbs have to work, and your brain has to concentrate, and your heart has to race, and you have to at least drop a little bit of sweat.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice presentation, Jyoti.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we have the question on Zoom asked by some Grace. Hello, Jyoti ma'am. How do one cope up with the procrastination to start exercising? Kindly suggest what are the exercises to start with.
My question also.
Your question. Right,
Okay,
doctor.
who asked, Mayuri?
It's Grace.
Okay.
Grace R.
Hi,
Shail.
Grace. It's good that you thought of doing something. That's the first step. That's the first stepping stone. There is nothing like, see, if always choose one partner first. Pick one of your friend and start going for walk. Chat a chit chat or do something. Don't do it as a task. See, exercise merely, I don't suggest that you have to only play a video and do along with it. Or instead, you can do like play your favorite song and jump along. You don't even know how to dance. You can just jump along. So these are the simple things to start with. Like the moment you suppose play Check Day song or Chaya Chaya song, the kind of josh we get when we listen to that music, it obviously makes you, activates you and makes you jump around. And when you do it, when you experience it, when you actually realize the happiness that you receive, you keep on doing it much, much, much more. So instead of looking for a activity prescription, I suggest you just play your dance numbers and start with it. Once you are done with it, keep doing more. Just start with a brisk walk. Or if you're just at home confined within the four walls as we are in the pandemic, spot jogging is the best. It's high intense and we can do much, much better in lesser time. I hope this helps. That's the only question, or?
Yeah, that's the question from Grace. So Samta on the Facebook is asking, is walking after a meal or before meal, which is better?
See, Samantha, everything has a time. I always follow scientific principles with our age-old traditional practices. I don't miss them. So the thing is, if you remember your grandmother or grandfather saying you just had your meal, don't sleep. Have you ever heard saying this from your parents?
Yes.
Or you just had your meal, don't go for a bathroom, don't go to take a shower now. Have you ever heard this? It's because there is a reason for that. The same reason applies to the post-meal workouts. See, when we eat food, it's very important we let the body do its job. Means it has to digest. When the food is digested, it assimilates and gives us that energy. So the major body's energy has to be concentrated in the core and for your abdominal area so that it can do its job. In that specific time, if you go and do your workout, or if you sleep and go into your resting mode, or if you go and take a shower and activate your muscles, what is happening? You're just impacting your digestive capability. You got my point? So everything has its own time. Don't do it after meal. You can try before meal if you have time, not a problem. But you should always have a gap between your meal timings and your exercise timings. That's very important.
Very important. Also, Harpreet is asking, what is your take on holistic approach to personal fitness?
Okay, what exactly you want to know, Harpreet?
She's on Facebook. Harpreet, can you be a little more specific about the question? I'll read out to the Jyoti. And Samta says, thank you for answering my question. Mansi says, well said, super advice. And who is Anamita says, very informative session, Jyoti. Thank you.
Thank you.
Simi says, excellent session, well explained.
Okay. So maybe
yeah.
holistic approach, we follow acceptance, we follow forgiveness, we follow non-judgmental, all these principles. This, yeah, of course, apply to the personal training also. Personal training in the sense to yourself or to your client who you're dealing in person. I want to understand that. So I didn't get that question. Probably you can get me back, Harpreet.
Yeah. Dr. Suresh is here. He says, amazing, madam. On
Thank
Zoom.
you, sir.
Yeah. So any other questions, doctor, from your side?
Dr. Suresh Kumar has come after a long time.
Finally, he got some time to attend the session today.
So I want to hear from you, Mayuri. How far do you agree to my points?
Oh, of course, to the 100%.
To the T.
Definitely to the T. As you said, like, you know, the okay, Mansi is asking. So before we discuss, do we need to step up the exercise regime or keep changing it?
When you start something, it's very important to start little bit. Do only a little amount of time. What we usually see is people who have not done anything before, they just jump onto the gyms and they do intensive workouts, and it will rush their circulatory system, and they won't be able to manage it, end up having pains and all, and they stop doing it. So the simple principle is one has to start slow and progressive. And while progressing ahead, it's always good to have a combination of exercises. See, everything is important. Only aerobics doesn't help, neither only strength building doesn't help, or only flexibility and yoga doesn't help. It has to be a combination of all three so that we can have the plus advantages from all the three areas. So we need strength building because strength building helps us in muscle activation. When the more muscle is there, the metabolic rate obviously increases. And the metabolic rate is high, it helps us to stay active and keeps us more fit. Similarly, cardiac is important. Aerobics is important because that's what gives us this cardiac fitness. And similarly, strength training. The person who has strength and stamina but don't have that flexibility and who can't even sit on the toes or do some squats on the floor, what is the use of that strength? So flexibility is also equally important. So have a combination of all three, but not too much at a time. You have to plan it in such a way that it goes easy with you and increase the repetitions as you progress ahead.
Right. So yeah, coming back to our discussion. So you were mentioning that, you know, practice what you want to preach, right? Or, you know, preach what you practice. So this often happens with me. I generally ask my clients to sleep early. I go to bed early and, you know, wake up early. So they generally used to ask me, why, Suresh Garu?
You did half marathon, okay?
Oh, sir. Okay. Garu. So we have a question on Facebook now. Samatha is asking another question. Can you give some tips to be productive being a mom and to be a student myself? My study time in specific. Samatha, can you please frame your question? Even I did not get it actually.
So she's a student.
She needs some tips for being a mom.
Being a mom and to be a student.
No. See,
I think she's also a student.
See, for the young
mom and student.
Mom and student.
For the young moms, shall I tell you the best exercise that you can do?
Play with them.
Play with your child. Nothing
Very
can
true.
beat that. Nothing can beat that. See, you're spending your time with your little one and you get that physical activity. Especially, how old is your child?
No, she says not for being a mom, but during the study time. She's a student, right? She sits for study for a slightly longer time and all, right? So probably for that, I think she's asking for that.
See, if you go to
her kid is a teenager.
College,
her kid is a teenager.
Sorry?
Teenager. Her kid is a teenager, it seems.
Okay. So see, if we go to a physical college, there is nothing much that we can do while attending classes. You have to sit and concentrate on your classes, obviously. We have no other way to go, but definitely you can indulge in other extracurricular activities if they are part of your college curriculum. That's one way. But if they are virtual classes and if you're taking your classes from home, most of them, they don't even carry the books these days. Forget about keeping the video on. So if that is the case and there is no necessity to switch on your video and all, just use a Bluetooth and keep walking and listen and making your notes. That's the best thing that you can do. And in fact, you can do anything. You can do any kind of exercise if it is only a listening task. Only if you have to make notes of something, or you can just take a screenshots, or if you have a facility to get the recording, you can do later. If not, you have to sit and make a notes of it, and you have to find out some time to do exercise later part of the day.
I hope she got okay. She says thanks. She's very active on Facebook.
Okay.
Playing with the child, as I said, I recall Mayuri's video.
Yes, doctor. Even now, even today also, I mean, now and then, Mama, please do that. She asked me, Mama, adi chayyu, she asked me. She
Her
enjoys
daughter
that.
sits on her back, and Mayuri does
Yeah,
sit-ups.
even my daughter does that. She sits on my legs, and I have to do the leg raises with her sitting on my legs. And that's my best core exercise.
Actually, young kids are an ad. So,
do we have any questions? Any more questions?
As of now, no questions. Richa says very insightful talk, Jyoti. And
Thank you, Richa.
So not many questions.
Really nice. I really liked the way you presented. I really liked, and the content is also very nice, apt, scientific, and practical.
Yeah, and in the start of the session also, she says, like, if maid is not there, BP goes high and everything. I don't know, many of us, who are dependents on the maids, when the lockdown has happened, I don't know where their BPs would have gone. Maybe by now they would have got used to.
This is the true story, Mayuri. This is way back 2004 and 5. Later, when I shifted to abroad, where we have to do everything on our own,
right?
I learned the tactics. Now that doesn't care me. Even if it doesn't come for 10 days or 1 month, it doesn't care me anymore, because I have the capacity to do that. I have the confidence now. It's not like when we are developing and when we are just trying to emerge. See, I can resonate this one example with everybody. So I thought I'll bring that out.
Very true. And that's me. That is how, we get practice, and, that is what we're going to preach again. That itself is a practice and preach. And yeah, coming to the sleeping early thing, ma'am, what time you will sleep? There are few clients who got close to me, and over a period of time, they were just asking, ma'am, what is your sleep time? I said like 9:30. So I mean,
I don't have a maid at all.
Yeah, even I've seen that. I'm proof for that. There is no maid at doctors.
I'm now accustomed to everything, right from the beginning. Right from the beginning.
From past 2 years, even I don't have a maid. Yeah. Thanks to COVID. Thanks to COVID.
I've got so much of weight loss achievers because of
COVID. Very true. And also another point also, Jyoti, which I wanted to bring this. You said that, when we have like muscular meditation, whatever it is, the daily routine, any kind of routine or physical activity, we see an enhancement, in our immunity, and, colds and fevers are less. I do accept this. If you see our moms, it's very less they fall sick compared to, a dad or, or a kid or something. If you see that moms and, people who are active in the house, they're very less. They fall sick. Yeah. They fall sick very less.
I still remember one client way back in 2005 or 6, I think. She came from a elite family, and she told me, I roll my chapatis every day. Don't you think it's an exercise for my hands? So I was like, what the hell? Where are we living in? What kind of exercise can we recommend to people like these?
Very true.
Even do anything, and they never realize that whatever work we are doing, it's just a switch apart. There's nothing much that we are physically doing, unless otherwise this realization comes into their brain. Change never exists.
Very true. Very true. Or there are many clients, such scenarios we definitely see, but again, something, as you said, age-old traditional practices, go back to age-old traditional practices, connect them with the scientific things, and, make them as your daily habits. You're going to flourish, as you say, nourish to flourish. You will definitely flourish. We'll definitely see those changes, actually.
Exactly.
Hi, Jyoti. More about this, what your mind believes the body achieves. Can you tell in a short form, Chris?
An example?
Okay, I'll give a very easy example. Say you're very hungry, very hungry, and you're feeling literally weak. Okay, very weak, as if you feel like you will fall down, you will become unconscious. And we just grab a plate full of meals and we eat. Okay, the moment we eat, we feel satisfied, we feel full, we feel energetic, we feel fulfilled. That's so nice. But technically speaking, scientifically looking into the background, for any food to digest and give energy, it takes 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because your mind believed that you got food, you got that energy. It's not merely from the food that you had.
Okay.
So
A
you
very good
understand
example.
now how mind
Yeah.
works?
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much for being here on Tea Talks and giving us such a wonderful session and very practical and very realistic examples and, very nicely framed sentences. And many of them got fan of your sentences, actually, to be honest. So thank you so much for being here. And, we wish you to be here once again in future. Thank you so much.
And thank you,
Yes.
Janaki ma'am, for the opportunity.
Our
Pleasure is all
pleasure.
mine.
Our pleasure. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Okay then. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
See you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Bye for today.